Well, this is story time in the tree house. We have a tree even with Miss Diane. And it is Heart Day today. We are going to share a story that is one of my very most favorite. And it's called Somebody Loves You, Mr. Hatch. Written by Eileen Spinelli, and pictures are by Paul Yalzaski, or something like that. It's a hard name. Well, every day Mr. Hatch would get up in the morning at 6:30, and he'd walk 8 blocks to his work. Do you know that he worked in the shoelace factory? They made shoelaces. How crazy is that? He would go to work, and at lunch, he would sit alone in his corner. He would eat his mustard sandwich, and he would have a drink, and he'd have a prune for dessert. Do you know what a prune is?
No.
It's a shriveled up raisin, but it's about that big. We used to eat those at my grandma's house. After he would make 2 stops, he'd go to the newsstand, and he would go get some meat, a fresh turkey wing for his supper.
That looks like sushi.
After supper, he read his newspaper, he took a shower, and he went to bed early every night. People said, he keeps to himself. Then one Saturday, something happened that surprised him. The postman came, and he had a package, and it was wrapped up, and he thought, who is sending me a package in the mail? And so he was so excited. And Mr. Goober said, I don't know. You must have a secret admirer. Somebody must really love you. And so he tore off the paper, and underneath the paper was a heart-shaped box. And in the box, there were chocolates.
Oh,
And
I wish
in
I could have
the
one.
box, there fluttered on the floor a card. And if you read that card, it says, somebody loves you. Who could love me? He thought. He didn't know what to do. And so he got on his favorite outfit, and he ran around his house, and he danced, and he started to sing. Because sometimes if you feel like somebody likes you, it makes you really, really happy. And suddenly he was a different person. He even put on his polka dot tie. And usually when he went for a walk, he didn't talk to anyone. But this time he said, hello. Mrs. Weed about tripped over her dog. She never knew that he could talk. And Mr. Dunwoody, he about fell off his ladder. What has happened to Mr. Hatch? He's talking to us. Oh, then Tina Finn spilled all of the toys out of her wagon. They were all so surprised. Well, when he went to back to work, he took his box of hearts, and he shared them with all of the workers. And on the way home, when he stopped at the newsstand, he talked to Mr. Smith. And he said, I think I'm going to buy some mints today. I'm buying mints and a newspaper. And Mr. Smith said, whoa, you are different. What happened to you? I don't think you look very good, Mr. Smith. Are you okay? Well, not really. I'm sick, but I can't leave my newsstand because I need to go to the doctor. Well, Mr. Hatch said, I'll stay, I'll work for you, and you can go to the doctor. Mr. Smith could hardly believe his ears. Then he went to get some meat. And when he got meat, he did not get his basic turkey wing. He got a big fat piece of ham. Oh, Mr. Todd, how are you? Well, I'm a little worried. My daughter's at school and she hasn't come back to the grocery store. Oh, that's okay. I'll go and walk her home so that she is safe. Then you'll know right where she is. Well, Mr. Hatch kept doing wonderful things. And then one day, he baked some brownies, and the smell came out of his house, and suddenly everybody was at his house for a party. They were having lemonade and brownies. Oh, they were having so much fun. All the children and all the parents. And guess what he got? I'm going to poke myself in the eye with this beautiful tree. Guess what he got out when they came? What do you think's in this box?
I don't know.
You might not know. What do you think this is?
Kazoo. Kazoo.
It's kind of like a kazoo.
Harmonica.
I've never played one. That was pretty good for Miss Diane, wasn't it? That's a harmonica. He got his harmonica out, and everyone was so happy when they heard the harmonica. Then, the next day, something happened. The mailman came back, Mr. Goobler, and he said, I made a terrible mistake. He said, do you think I could get that package back from you? It really isn't your package. I took it to the wrong house. And Mr. Hatch said, well, we ate all the chocolates. They're gone. But you can have the box back. And I'm sorry, I hope you don't get in trouble. And Mr. Goobler was so sad because he wanted Mr. Hatch to keep it. But he had to take it back to the post office. And then, one more thing, he said, well, if you take this back, you need to take this back. What did this say?
Somebody loves you.
Somebody loves you, because that came with the package. So Mr. Hatch went back to the shoelace factory. He put his head down. He didn't talk to anyone. He ate lunch all alone. He ate a mustard sandwich and a big prune. And when he went home, he had his shower, and he stopped at the newsstand. He stopped to get his turkey wing, and he went to bed early. What is wrong with Mr. Hatch? Said everyone. He is not talking anymore. And he used to bake us brownies and plant flowers with us, and he fed our animals, and he did so many fun things. What can we do? Well, the postman said, I have an idea. So Saturday morning, they made hearts, and they made streamers, and they made a big, huge sign that says, everybody loves Mr. Hatch. And all the people came, and they gave him a new, what's this called? Harmonica. Mr. Hatch had a tear going down his cheek. I think somebody loves me after all. And then he smiled, and he laughed, and he hurried down to be with his friends. Now we're going to do a second story, and it has to do with our tree. because I want this story to tell you about the tree. This is about a girl named Valentina. Do you know what Valentina is? Valentine in another language. And so her favorite holiday was Valentine's Day. And this book is written by Adriana Trigiana. And the pictures are by Amy June Bates. Mia Valentina was the youngest person in her family. She had a big family, but everyone was gone. They were gone to ball games and gone to school. And she was with her mom. They decided they would climb up to the stairs and go into the attic and pull all of the decorations out of the attic. They had red and pink decorations. And when they looked through the window, they had buttons on their window. Do you know why they had buttons? Because they had holes in their window. And her mom glued on the buttons so that they wouldn't get cold. Because they were kind of poor. They couldn't get new windows, so they put buttons on them. But it made it look magical. Well, in the living room, there was this brown wallpaper. And Mia said, I'm going to surprise you, Mom, and I'm going to pull it all down. And underneath the brown was a beautiful pink and red. It had flowers on it. And she was going to decorate now because the wallpaper was just like Valentine's Day. And so she took out her gumdrops. Now, if you want to make a Valentine tree at your house, you get some gumdrops. I think these are the best kind, but they're kind of hard to find. And she put them on some strings. We'll go back to that in 1 minute. She put them on some strings. And so Miss Diane brought her scissors because I want you to make a Valentine tree when you go home. Do you know what pipe cleaners are?
Yeah.
These funny things? And she put blue. All you have to do is poke that in them. And then you're going to have a Valentine tree like you had a Christmas tree. Do you like blue?
Yeah.
And her mom gave her all colors of gumdrops. She gave her, and you can use any candy that's soft. It has to be soft so you can poke those little holes in.
Like marshmallows?
Yeah, marshmallows would be really a good idea, I think. I even got sparkly pipe cleaners. Do you like sparkles?
Yeah.
They're my favorite. You don't like sparkles? No? Okay. But when you decorate your tree, you might want to use all different colors. Valentina even saved 3 in her pocket because she didn't want them to get all eaten. And she wanted to give one to their dog. And she wanted to save one for later. Do you ever save candy for later?
Yeah.
Or do you want to eat it all up?
Sometimes
So
it's
she
just
saved
too
some
good
in
I
her
eat it all
pocket.
up.
And her and her mother got working. They got all different decorations out. And do you know what Valentina did? She made a Valentine for everyone in her family. She made a basketball Valentine for her sister who loved basketball. She made a truck Valentine for her brother, and a rocket Valentine, and a squirrel Valentine. Have you started to make and color Valentines? Do you know how to cut them out and color? You have at your house. Have you made some Valentines?
love making Valentine's.
I do too. And then they went to the kitchen. And what do you think they made in the kitchen?
Cupcakes. Cupcakes.
Cupcakes. Those are kind of a Valentine thing with frosting and pink sprinkles. Who loves sprinkles on top of their cupcakes? And then they heard the kitchen door fly open. And Mia's brothers and sisters, she had Grace, Helen, Massimo, Olivia, Bob, and Elsa. They came in the house with her dad. And her dad gave her mom a big box of chocolates. And then they did their favorite thing. They decorated their door. And you can decorate your door. They put old Valentines from last year that they got up there. And here were all the Valentines in their house hanging up. They were so excited, and here's their little tree like ours. They ate their dinner. They had pasta with red sauce because it was Valentine's Day. And Valentina was a tiny bit sad because she made everyone a Valentine and nobody made her one. But she climbed into bed, and when she sat up and lifted the blanket, underneath the sheet there was a Valentine that said, "To the best helper, love, Mom." The house on the hill did not have very good heat, and it did not have new wallpaper, and it had funny glass in the windows. It did have candy, a candy tree, and 7 children, and macaroni and cupcakes. It was the house of love. And it turned out there was so much love in that house that there was not even room for all of the love that was there.
Yeah,
So sometimes we can have simple, fun times at our